Hey guys, what you're seeing now is gameplay of myself playing Luigi's Mansion 3 at Nintendo NYC, in case you're wondering, but I did want to give my quick thoughts on Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion, and Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, but just note that the footage you're seeing right now is just myself playing Luigi's Mansion 3. But let's get on with the video and give you guys my first impressions of each game. First and foremost, Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm going to save that one for last, since that's kind of like, I think the biggest one out of all of them. So we'll get to that in a second. But I'm going to talk about Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, since that's kind of like, I think, the least interesting one for me anyways. And I got to play a little bit. I got to play with one other person. The rep kind of just gave us a quick rundown of how the game plays, and for the most part, we just kind of played through it. In the demo, I got to play with Captain America, while the person I had the pleasure of playing with was playing Deadpool. From what I understood, it seems like a very basic beat 'em up. I actually played the first Ultimate Alliance, but I have not played the sequel. So there's some things that have changed that I am not totally aware of, if it's totally, I guess, new, or if it's something they added in the second game. I honestly would not be able to tell you. But from the time I've played it, you have your light and heavy attacks, which is kind of like, I guess, expected for this sort of thing. And then if you hold down a certain button, you also have your skills. And throughout the demo, I've leveled up a few times in it, and I was able to gain new skills. So there is a sort of like RPG aspect to the game. I don't remember if that was a thing or not in the first game. It probably was, but I didn't play it since around the launch of the Xbox 360, or at least when I got the Xbox 360, so I don't really know. I really don't remember most of it, so it'd be kind of hard for me to tell you. But my time with Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 was very little. I want to say it was like 15 minutes or so, and it was fun. I liked it. I wish I got more time with it. I felt like I didn't get a good representation of the game, but that's kind of it. And I guess like it's very similar to my experience with Link's Awakening, because when I finally did get my chance to play Link's Awakening, it was another demo where it was 15 minutes. The rep at the booth told me that the objective was just to complete the forest section, or at least complete the puzzle in the forest area. And for the most part, apparently, according to the rep, I had done it pretty fast, because it was just expected to do the forest puzzle, and I ended up going like I want to say the first few rooms of the first dungeon. And that's mostly because Link's Awakening was actually the very first Game Boy game I've ever played. So I have a lot of nostalgia for the game, and I actually kind of vaguely remembered some sections of the game itself. So it wasn't really that hard for me to figure out the puzzle, because, yeah, sure, I don't remember it to a T, but when I was playing it, I was kind of getting reminded of how the game worked and what the puzzle asked of me to do. So it wasn't really too bad. It was actually pretty easy for me to understand. The art style was adorable. The game plays pretty much exactly the way I expected it to, or at least from what I remember it being. It's not like you have free movement entirely. It's, 8 directions and, that sort of thing. The map is exactly what I expected. One thing that was kind of a cool feeling, though, was the fact that while playing the game, I was kind of used to Link's Awakening, or at least top-down Zelda games, to kind of have like a certain amount of things on screen, and then when you would walk off screen, it would kind of like pan over. Even Cadence of Hyrule does this, which is a game I'm currently playing through, which is kind of cool to play the remake, because it doesn't do that at all. It's just all seamlessly, like, I guess, loaded, if that's the word. It doesn't really do that thing where it changes from one screen to another. It just continues on the map, which is kind of cool, because, I'm kind of used to top-down Zelda games doing that. So having a game not do that at all, and just being like one seamless map that I'm just walking through, was kind of cool. And I don't really have much negatives for it, other than there was like some weird instances where the frame rate dropped, and I don't know if that was because of the game, or because of the monitor they had the game running on, or whatever the case may be. But there was some really weird instances where the game's frame rate did drop, and I don't know why. It doesn't seem like the kind of game that would cause it to drop, especially considering it's on the same system as Breath of the Wild. So yeah, I don't know, that was kind of odd. But let's get to the, what I think is the most interesting of the 3 games, because it's not just, Ultimate Alliance, and it's not just a remake, it's a brand new, installment of a franchise, Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's also the game you're, watching me play through right now. And honestly, before I played the game, I had very little to no interest in actually buying the game. I thought it looked cool, but it wasn't enough for me to, want to spend $60 on. But now that I've played it, I'm a lot more open to it now, honestly. It's really fun, and I'm actually really enjoying the game, or at least I really enjoyed the game, I should say. And I don't know, like, the slamming mechanic is kind of just satisfying to just body slam ghosts as you're playing it. As you're watching my gameplay, you'll see that there was different puzzles I had to solve using Luigi, which is like this new thing. I guess it's like a little puzzle mechanic they added. The demo doesn't really do enough justice for Luigi though, because you kind of just use them once or twice and it ends super quick, so you don't really get a good chance to really understand the mechanic to a deeper level. But you do get to kind of fight a few ghosts here and there. You do kind of have to fight a boss, which I do have my full boss fight playtime, I guess, from the demo in there, which the boss was kind of cool. It took me a little bit to understand how to play. The controls felt a little weird at first because you kind of have, there's no auto aim or anything, or there's no lock on or anything like that. So you I kind of had to claw the controller as if I was playing Monster Hunter on like the 3DS or something. So it felt a little weird at first, I will admit, but it was still fun to play, and I kind of had fun just slamming the ghosts around, using Luigi as this sort of like puzzle solving mechanic. And apparently, just like Link's Awakening, the rep was telling me that I beat it pretty fast. But for that, I think it just happens to be pretty easy. I had a few moments where I had a little bit of trouble, like during the boss fight. I did get hit a couple times because I didn't understand when exactly the boss was available and open to be hit. But that's just like how every boss fight typically goes. You learn as you fight, right? But yeah, I had pretty much little to no interest in Luigi's Mansion until I finally got my hands on it. And now that I got my hands on it, I'm a lot more open to actually buying the game. It just seems more interesting and fun than I expected it to be. But I guess that's really all I have to say on the matter. I think each game was fun in their own right, but I think Luigi's Mansion just happened to surprise me a bit. But I guess that's really all I have time for you guys for today anyway. So let me know in the comments down below which game you happen to be the most excited for. Are you planning on pre-ordering any of these games? And if so, let me know if you're interested in watching me stream any of these games. But that, like I said, that's all I have time for you guys. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.